How is it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Wings. So for anybody who's new with my channel, this is basically a little series where I look back on my much older projects and kind of commentate on how well they have aged and what my intentions were and the overall background behind it. And in this case, I'm actually looking at one of the most interesting kind of videos compared to anything else on my channel. It is a music video, and this music video is the winter wrap-up guitar cover. So this was kind of based off of a trend or some kind of thing that became a tradition when the analysis community was still fairly new at the time, and this was for whenever somebody reached 3,000 subscribers. I don't know where it started. I'm guessing it started with Tommy Oliver, who at the time was Brony Curious. He no longer does any MLP stuff. I think he took him down. I saw that other people were also doing it. I saw that ANY did his own take by singing the lyrics in German. I saw that Ink Rose also took on the Winter Wrap-Up cover song, but hers was at 10,000 subscribers, so that was kind of like, you know, breaking the tradition, but eventually it just started to fade away. But I wanted to use this to my opportunity to put forth my music production skills and actually expand upon it and make a music video out of it, something greater than usual. So during that time, as I was learning to produce music, I wanted to actually do something a little more than just make my channel a reviewing channel. It was one of my attempts to be a little bit more universal and have a bit of a variety of my very own. It was a hit and miss back and forth, and upon doing so, I wanted to make sure that everything was done correctly and that it was perfect. And by the mean perfect, I mean satisfying perfect, not 100% perfect, because that's not possible. I did get some criticism from some other analysts who were in what's called the Riff channel at the time, or the Riff Cafe. Nowadays it's called the Secret Riff. But I did show some of them who were also musicians, and they would critique what I had and basically just follow up what theirs are and just compose everything together and rearrange it, both to my satisfaction and what is actually appropriate. So with all this in mind, let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to go ahead and put one of the earphones in so that way I can actually hear what I'm talking about, as the video itself can be overwhelmingly loud. Alright, so we start off with a wall of text. I'm going to pause it here. Yeah, so this was once again my attempt to put in quotes in my videos. It helped me to learn that we all have hidden talents, and if we were patient and diligent, we're sure to find them. And as always, with good friendship and teamwork, ponies can accomplish anything. Twilight Sparkle, Terra Strong. This was supposed to be an effect here where a torch just goes up, and it's supposed to be like some kind of ancient wall that's supposed to have like some kind of writing on there indicating that it was from another time. Either that or the texture would resemble the paper of a page of a book, considering that the show starts off with the book opening up. So let's go ahead and continue. And there's supposed to be a lighting effect there for the time being until we cut to the actual video itself. Alright, so here's one of the many shots in my room where I used to live in my parents' house. The shot of all the ponies and the Lion King dolls on the left. A poster with Terra Strong's signature from Equestria LA, along with a cardboard cutout of my character being... I'm going to pause that here. The cardboard cutout, to finish off my sentence there, was from Soul Rack. If you look carefully, there was a little circle that has that screaming face. But I wanted to pause at this shot here. I actually really like what I did. So on the right is just a poster, or it's a print of Fausticorn, and she's drawing things. I thought that was a very cute picture, so I went and decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and just purchase that because it's cute. I wanted to frame it. I wanted to make use of it. I eventually got it signed by Lauren Faust, thanks to Thespio, who took the print to BabsCon, and I think in 2016. But up until then, I wanted to do something a little creative with this, as well as what you see on the left is a quote from C.S. Lewis, who is the author of the Chronicles of Narnia series. Now, personal note, I'm not a Christian, and I know that some people would ask that because he was also Christian, and Narnia has a lot of Christian themes, but I do have a lot of appreciation what he was willing to bring forth with his imagination. In fact, I really love this quote here that a lot of people have been using very often, not just in the fandom, but in a lot of other places. So To read it out loud. Critics who treat adult as a term of approval instead of as a merely descriptive term cannot be adults themselves. To be concerned about being grown up, to admire the grown up because it is grown up, to blush at the suspicion of being childish, these things are marks of childhood and adolescence. In childhood and adolescence, they are, in moderation, healthy symptoms. Young things ought to want to grow, but to carry on to middle life or even early manhood, this concern about being adult is a mark of really arrested development. When I was 10, I read fairy tales in secret and would have been found ashamed if I had been found doing so. Now that I am 50, I read them openly. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up. Now, obviously, anybody at any age can enjoy anything. That's pretty much what the quote comes to. And I love that this would be put to use, as well as, if you look carefully on the page there. This was me working with somewhat of a graphic design with this printed text, and behind it was Princess Celestia Sun Cutie Mark. Because it's a bright page, it's actually printed on a special sheet of paper that are used for printing resumes. I actually still have a flock of them somewhere, and I don't know how I'm gonna put them to use. Anyways, enough rambling about that. Let's proceed. A rarity toy and a bunch of MLP cards. And there's me pulling out my guitar. Alright, so I'm going to pause here for a second. What that is, for those who are not educated in guitar stuff, that is a guitar modulator, which you plug it in and you use your headphones and you work with power supply. It has presets and preamp settings to actually give off a wide variety of guitar tones, in which I put together and used my imagination to work with my own custom tones. There's already pre-made tones in which the device claims are based off of certain songs, like Master of Puppets from Metallica or Eruption from Van Halen. Those are just a few examples in which I'm not going to go over too much, because I want to focus on the video itself. But this was a device in which I used to have a guitar amplifier, but for some reason it broke. I don't know what happened to it. I wish I could have fixed it. Hopefully at some point I would like to get a new guitar amplifier, but until then, there was this I had to deal with. Now, this thing could also be plugged into the computer, which was how I was able to record off of it. Now, anybody who's experienced in playing guitar, some people would probably cringe at that, because these are one of the devices that professionals even cringe at, saying that they give off some very bad tones or they give off a bad sound. Personally, I had no problem with it. I'm pretty sure that some people would have more to say about it than I would. This is not for everybody, but this was all I had at the time. This was only limited hardware with whatever software I was able to search and find and obtain to actually make this work. So this was a shot here where I was just getting everything set up and I'm ready to just like jam out. And then, buzz noise. Okay, so if you actually look at the guitar that I'm using itself, it's a Stratocaster, but the pickups, or what you actually see here near the bottom of the corner, those are called pickups for those who are not familiar with the guitars. And what that is in particular is a single coil. The reason why I bring this up is because single coils, if you turn the gain high, or if you turn up certain settings to create that rocky distortion rock sound, you're going to get what they call a 60 cycle hum. It's a very obnoxious hum. There are ways to work around it. And in this case, I wanted to put it to use to create like, hey, this is a very loud sound that I'm putting together, and just utilize that sound for just a brief second, which you just heard. But that's the buzzing sound if it's only on just that coil. This guitar had 3 coils, and I was activating 2 that were from the bridge, which is where it holds the strings, because that's where I think it gets the best sound from. With those 2 active, it helps cancel out this humming sound a lot more. I'm not going to get into too much techie stuff. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you who are listening, this is probably flying over your head. So I just wanted to get that out there and point out that, hey, I utilize that humming sound to create that effect where you plug in an amplifier sound and which shows, hey, this speaker is loud and it's ready to be heard. I was also a little off on my fingering here. I didn't even notice it, and I just continued afterwards. What mattered was that I was synchronizing with the notes bit by bit, as well as so I'm gonna pause it here. So what I did when I was filming these two shots was that I was playing the track. I think it was off of my iPhone somewhere. I used to have an iPhone, and then I switched to Samsung because Apple decided to ditch that headphone jack. It was really dumb. Somewhere I was playing this sound out loud, and I was synchronizing with it while I was on camera. And funny enough, when I was shooting, I had to be very careful and hope that my parents didn't walk into my room and see that I'm in the middle of doing this, and it would look extremely awkward. So trying to make sure that the light was consistent, I had to film at a certain hour, which I think it was like 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Alright. So yeah, you may have noticed I was using periodic clips of the episode itself, and that's because I've seen this used even in professional companies where they would make a music video based off of a particular following franchise of some sort, and they would use those clips while showing the music video saying, hey, this is based off of such and such. And I wanted to bring that forth as well as just filming a music video where I'm actually playing a guitar. And I thought it was a fun idea. So there's 2 different shots. There's one where they have the Fausta Corn, the C.S. Lewis quote, and this is me at my desk when I was playing it. So I'm going to pause it here. There was a bit of a lag there. I think this was just part of the rendering process. I wish I had done something about it, but there was nothing much else I could do. I rendered this on my laptop, which it had some limitations in how much it could function. As a result, there was just an exception that I had to make. I honestly don't like that kind of thing. I don't like these silly rookie mistakes, but this was just, this was once again dealing with limited hardware. So yeah, that kind of made me cringe a little. So this was a new shot in which, this was actually the first reel that I shot, and this was me getting the rhythm guitar out of the way. I was at one point going to film myself playing the bass, but I just didn't have the patience. I just wanted to get through with this, which in hindsight, I felt like I should have done that because it was a little lackluster in a few areas. Now, I also used a different guitar here because I didn't want to just repeatedly use the same model every time. The 2 shots where I was using the red Stratocaster, there was one for lead and there was one for what is called harmony. And harmony is it's another portion of a lead that creates 2 notes that correlate with each other within the key itself. You'll probably, it's better, you'll know it when you hear it. It's when you hear the 2 guitars playing at the same time in 2 different notes that actually, well, correlate together. I'm repeating myself. This was used for a rhythm guitar, which is basically playing a set of chords that help support the backing track along with the bass. I'm trying to simplify this as much as I can to anybody who isn't experienced in understanding music or music theory and what have you. I'm probably wasting too much time about that, but basically I just wanted to film a different guitar to add a variety, and this guitar was for a different purpose. Sun comes up, its warmth and beauty will grow. I think that's what the lyrics were. Winter wrap up, let's finish our holiday cheer. So there's more clips of the show. There's more of that shot. So I want to pause at the, if I can find it. So you notice on the left side of the shot here, that's Marcus Phoenix. This was a model that I got back when I was anticipating to Gears of War 3. I was a big fan of that, and I went and I decided to get the Ultimate Pack. If you also look carefully at the shot in the corner where they had all the posters, I also had that Gears of War 3 pack. That one black packet that has the game, and it has a bunch of other cool little features, like it has photographs, it has like an art book, it had quite a variety of things. I was pretty proud of purchasing it. Just wanted to point that out there in case anybody's wondering. Yes, I was a fan of Gears 1 to 3. I've never played 4, never played any of the spin-offs. Let's continue. Alright, so this is where I kind of took the song and kind of went through some personal liberties, from adding the clap sound, which was originally part of the song, but also adding the variation in, the drums itself, instead of doing the same beat all the time. Now right here I was going to add in what are called hammer-on licks. You would probably be familiar with them more if you listen to Van Halen. I don't remember the lyrics looking back at this, which is kind of sad because I used to watch the show so much. Winter wrap up, let's finish. Because tomorrow spring is here. Alright, so this part, I think this was a little lackluster in terms of both the composition and the way I was giving off my expression there. Yeah, I feel like I could have just added a little more variation to that. So I'm going to pause that for a second. Yeah, I don't know why I have that angry face. Holy shit. Why do I look so angry? Maybe it's because I was getting frustrated at shooting and I wanted to make sure everything was perfect or something. Or Keyframe noticed that sometimes when I'm so focused on something, I have this angry look. I don't know why. It's just a thing that I do. Personally, I think that's something that needs to be straightened out, and I wish I could do something about it. But regardless, that part where those long notes there, I felt like I could have just put a little bit more variation into it. And that's the thing. Whenever it comes to composing music, especially when it comes to just note by note, if you just do note by note on a cover, it can get a little dull. Like, you're just playing it too safe, you're not really delivering your own spin on it. And that to me is an idea of why a cover would be done. That part, I just felt like I could have done something a little more. I still don't know why I was angry in that shot. Winter wrap up, cause tomorrow spring is here, cause tomorrow spring is here. I love that send-off. Adding a blues cliche lick right there. And for some reason there was a little glitch in the audio right there. I don't know why. So that was the Winter Wrap-Up guitar cover, and for how it holds up, I'm still pretty proud of it for the most part. I know that there's a few little mistakes here and there, but it also, like, aside from the fact that I was willing to put together an actual music video where everything is just in my room, where I have just a decent collection of things as well as everything else I'm a fan of, whether it's The Lion King or Gears of War. For the most part, I like that it's my own personal expression in that, as well as having the spirit of having something fandom-based, as well as having the spirit of the show itself by using collective clips from the show, and just go all crazy with all these things that I'm throwing in there and trying to, you know, present them in a particular order and fashion. If I actually were to try to do this nowadays, yeah, I could do a better job. My experience in producing music is something I want to save for another video, in which, in fact, I actually have plans on already working on it. But until then, I hope you enjoyed watching this particular edition of Behind the Wings, and until next time, I'm GoldenFox, and I'll catch you guys later.